Hello and welcome to the Work Hates podcast. I'm Bron Lewis. This is Brady Blake. Everyone has a nightmare work story, whether it's a shit boss, a dreadful workplace, or an insufferable colleague. And if you've had none of those things, chances are you're the problem.
You are the problem. Today we are joined by comedian, writer, and Twitter extraordinaire, David Hughes.
Woo!
Thank you for having me.
Oh man, I'm pumped because I'm a big fan of your Twitter account. I don't like reading. He's very good on Twitter.
Yeah, you hate reading. Are you kidding me? Yeah, there's a girl I went to high school with who reposts absolutely everything you write, and also heaps of giant meme accounts repost all your stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you're a very big deal online.
I'm not a big deal, but
you are a big deal.
Yeah, they do use stuff a lot. It's quite cool.
You're very good at it.
Do they let you know they're doing it, or do they just steal your shit?
There's some real big accounts that did it for a while, and then that was what helped me grow.
But
then some of them just go, we'll just use it. But often they don't know either.
Do they steal it and take your name out and claim it as their own?
But they don't know it. I don't think they know that it's mine, you know? I think they've seen someone post it and gone, oh, that's funny, I'll use that. And it hasn't had my name on to begin with.
Right. So what do you do anything about that? Are you like, excuse me, put my name on that? No, you're too big now. Who cares?
No, there's nothing you can do. Like, what can you do? You'd be like, can you
please tag me?
Take that post with 1 million likes down and add mine instead. Like, it's too late.
But you are very good at it.
I had a viral video once.
Did you?
But
Was it
wasn't
about cars?
No, it wasn't about cars. It was about this guy in Fitzroy. He rides a bike, but he's got all these other trolleys connected to the back of it, and he does this big snake up the road, and some dude at the very end just booted the trolley.
That's not funny.
It's fucking, it ruled, dude. I was like, ah! And I put it on the thing, and it got like 2.2 million hits within straight away, but it wasn't all my comedy clips don't like have like 1,000 views or whatever. But then people were stealing it and fucking putting it on their account. I was like, hey man, that's my fucking video that you've ripped off. Prove it, fuck you, prove it.
Yeah.
Those car ones that you do though, don't they have quite a lot? The ones where you're like, oh, look at this car, and then it's the other car behind it that you're talking about.
Yeah, the car ones go well. They're my ones. People don't really steal those. They do repost them.
I suppose because your voice is in it too.
Yeah.
No one's claiming that.
No one wants that. Oh, that's me, is it? It sounds like you got a lot of trauma. But the worst part with those videos is you got to hide in the fucking bush for like an hour and wait for a nice car to come past a shit Ford.
Is that how you do it? Because I'm so naive with that stuff. I was just like, oh, he's probably just been walking down with his phone out and went, oh, real quick.
Yeah, it looks really lucky.
So you see the parked car that you want.
Yes.
And then you sit there and wait for like a supercar to drive by.
Sometimes you go, oh, fuck, there's an XB Falcon. Yeah, I'll wait. And then like, because I could, sometimes in the area, a car will come past, or there was a wedding that day, the Ferrari one, there was a shit Ford, there was a Ferrari at the wedding, and I was like, they've got to have to turn right when they come out. This is going to be awesome. And I waited like an hour. And I'm just like, that's dedication. Pathetic, you know?
But it went well. It was worth it, right? Was it worth it?
It went well.
No one's stolen it.
No, I'm a master craftsman, you know?
Very good.
And people are like, did he even see the Ferrari? I'm like, that's the fucking point of it.
Oh, they're the worst. Because once they go viral and they get exposed to like the wrong
idiots.
People who weren't looking for... Yeah,
you can use a slur.
Fucking idiots, yeah. Dumb cars.
Slurs can we use on here?
Yeah, all of them.
I have this moon landing thread that was like me explaining why the moon landings never happened, and then it was taken and used on like I fucking love science. You know.
Oh yes, yep.
It's like a huge page, but the people that they usually post to are people who don't, I think, like comedy. They just
nerds.
So they took so many of them took it as fact.
Oh.
So me saying things like I called them the Vin Diesel radiation belts, and people were like, "That's not what they're called." It's like, is that the only problem you've got? Because I also said we can't go to the moon during the day because it's not there, and no one picks up on that. So
that's a big one, dude. Yeah, that's a big one.
But there'll be a bunch of. It was just full of spurious facts. I think I said that Neil Armstrong wanted to go. Actually, I can't remember, but I said that there was a reason that he wanted to go, and it was something like, collecting Pokemon cards or whatever it was.
Yes,
just silly shit.
Yeah.
But they'll pick one thing, like the Vin Diesel thing, and be like, well, that's incorrect.
I'm going to have to pull you up on this. Amazing.
It's
unbelievable.
The insanity of comments. You just like, what one lady was like, look, if you like the car, that's fine. But if you're mocking it, it's quite rude. You're like,
oh, shut up.
Shut the fuck up.
Car.
It's a car. Like, how can you get emotional about a car? But my favourite one, I do it to wind them up because Ford people are fucking insane. Well, car people are insane. So if you got...
You're car people though, right?
I am car
You're
people.
full-on car
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at the
Because when you
state of
said
him.
Falcon with a bunch of numbers and stuff, I don't know what any of that
No
means.
one
No, I
knows
was
what he's saying.
Bronny saw my full autism when I was driving around. I'm like, EL Falcon, EF. And I'm like, so with
Just ignore
certain
it.
makes of car, like Ford, they notoriously release cars and it's bad and they'll redo it again. Like do Series 1, Series 2, Series 3, like EA, Series 1, Series 2, Series 3. Or they do EA, they do the EB. They're very similar. Their bodies are pretty much same, but they'll just change the headlights or the grille. And I'll be like, oh, that's an EL Falcon. And people are like, it's an EF. And they will fucking... like, look at the tail guides. They never did a Sapphire. And they fucking lose their mind. And I'm like, ah. And there's just all these cunts commenting.
Are you deliberately trolling them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then I just get people
brilliant.
arguing in the comments section. And it's like, oh, there's 400 comments.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
done. See you later, cunt.
Do
And then
you-
it reaches
you-
that. Sorry. Go on.
Do you comment when people say something? Do you say anything back, or you just let it go? It's everywhere.
Yeah, it's hard to. Like you kind of should, because then that will push it
Yeah.
into the, everyone will see it then, because that's a metric. And
Yes.
likes are a metric, shares are a metric, and comments are a metric. So if you and I get into an argument on one post, that post goes from having 10 comments to 35 between the two of us.
Actually, you did teach me quite a lot about social media.
Yeah,
You did teach me heaps about it when
Yeah.
I was in Perth. So you live in Perth now.
It worked.
It worked, yeah.
Look, look.
She's a viral sensation.
I cannot get into the comments on TikTok. They are so we post all of our videos from here onto TikTok, and I cannot read them.
Do you just put them in? And
I just put it, and I can't. So some of our videos have 500,000 views, and some of them have 1,000. And I know that if I went in and just read the comments, but they're so nasty.
Yeah.
I mean, not always.
No,
A
I
lot
know
of
what
them
you
are
mean.
lovely, but
Yeah.
the nasty ones are just
They're the ones that stick.
yeah,
and
and I
Yeah.
don't need that. So I'm like, I'd rather have 1,000 views on a video than go in there and wade through the buck and feel a bit shit and then get another 5,000.
I'm like, man, I'm too
You need to get into there,
too
man.
Sauvignon Blancs deep at the airport and I'm bored. You're a cunt too.
Yeah, you're welcome to go to our
Yeah,
TikToks
yeah.
and deal with that shit, because I cannot. I'm like, no, thank you. But mean comments don't usually annoy me, but I think on this, because I'm sharing actual, it's comedy, I'm like, I don't really care.
I made it all up anyway.
Yeah, or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's, but if it's if I'm like, oh, this is a story that's happened to me, and they're like, well, you're a dog and you fucking deserved it, and guess what, you're a shit mum or something. I'm like, you know what?
Fuck you.
Please don't even
Brackets,
look at me.
but we love Brett. I remember that comment.
Yeah. So I'm always, I don't know. I just hate it. Well, you're welcome to do it, Brady. So you're in Perth, but you're in Melbourne visiting, and we're stoked that you agreed to come onto this. Now, your sister, huge fan of the podcast, I hear.
Shout out to your sister.
What's her name?
Emma.
Hello, Emma.
I love Emma.
Love Emma. Big
I
fan.
love Emma.
She's
huge
single?
fan. No, she's not. She's got kids.
Okay.
And
I was
actually,
just
maybe she is.
asking,
I'm not
David,
sure.
is this
No.
inappropriate?
I'm not sure she is.
She's not single. No.
No, she's not single. So stop doing
Trying
that.
to wind David up on my
And
podcast.
she wouldn't be interested in you, Brady.
That's true.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Dial it back.
She's a Holden girl.
She's I'm out. Not for me, dude.
Is that the rivalry for
Yeah,
Holden?
fucking
Oh,
oath.
okay.
Yeah, it's the biggest rivalry ever. But then Holden don't exist anymore, so we're like, we fucking won, dude.
I see them everywhere.
No, they stopped manufacturing them.
Oh,
So-
here.
Yeah. So you can
Or
still.
altogether, because they have them in England, but they're called something else. They're called Vauxhall.
Yeah, but they stopped the company Holden. They don't exist anymore. Like it's Chev is what they bring over now, and what they race against Fords. So they just stopped manufacturing, so Ford win.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
actually stopped the rivalry.
What
which
about
annoys me. 'Cause
What
it's
about
my favourite thing.
Volkswagen? I've got a Volkswagen. How do you feel about that?
Well, a Volvo has won Bathurst before, and it does annoy me.
Volvo?
Yeah.
A Volvo did.
Yeah.
Oh,
One
I
year.
love Volvos because it sounds so
Not
much
a
like
Volvo didn't win.
Volvo. And I'm like, how did they get this over
How
the
did they get away
line?
with that? Yeah.
I was like, this is too funny. This is incredible. Anyway,
I was in
that's just me.
bronze Volvo on the weekend, and
I wasn't in a Volvo. I have a Volkswagen, you fucking idiot.
Sorry, Volkswagen. Sorry.
Okay,
my
so
bad.
that won the
What
Bathurst
did
1000.
No, not your car.
Yeah.
It felt like it was winning the Bathurst 1000 the weekend. You're driving that fucking fast. You nearly hit a kangaroo.
No, I
was
didn't.
screaming the whole
That's
time.
not my fault. Is
it was
it
a
ever
5-hour
someone's
trip. We did it in
fault?
3.5, Bron. What's wrong with
Oh
that?
my God, I've got somewhere to be.
Okay. She's like, I don't want to be in
Sorry,
the car with this
David.
cunt anymore.
This was this gig that the two of you did at the weekend.
Yeah, we went to Riverina, Coolman,
Yeah.
where my dad lives, and we did a
Beautiful
little gig there.
Coolman. I loved it.
You did. And we got there very quickly.
I'd never heard of that place. And then you were supposed to be on at Cooper's with me. So I Googled it and I was like, how the fuck's he getting here?
Yeah.
Oh, because Tim messaged me. He's like, "Are you long off?" And I was like, "Brother, I'm 4 hours away." And I was like, "Man, I'm pretty sure I only told you I said I can only do Friday." I think he missed, or maybe I fucked up.
I could have got you there in time.
You could have.
Sounds like
there was a mobility scooter at the front of the golf club. You could have borrowed that.
I was actually thinking after a few schooners I'd take it for a spin, but someone took off with it and it really pissed me off.
No, it was good. But are you enjoying Melbourne?
I love it. Like I said, it's given me an itchy bumhole, but other than that, it's been fantastic.
Yeah. So you got into comedy a little bit later, which I did as well.
Should we reference why we're talking about his itchy arsehole? No.
No.
Nah, it's in the Patreon.
Patreon. My sister's in the Patreon too, so she'll
great.
get the itchy
know.
bum. She'll get the itchy bum.
Good on you, Emma. You'll love that.
And it also won't surprise her at all that that's happened to me.
He loves an itchy bumhole. Growing up, always about his bumhole.
Imagine if that was what makes our Patreon spike. I've got to find out about David's arsehole.
Yeah, how is it? It's a mystery. It's a beautiful mystery. So you got into comedy later. I got into comedy when I was like 34, I think. How old were you when you started comedy?
38.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay, great. So that is late. Yeah. I would say it's like, I love when people say it when they're like, oh, I started comedy late. I was like 27. Yeah. I'm like, pardon? Fuck off. And then I bash him. But at 38, what took you so long?
I didn't really want to do it.
That's fair enough.
The end. I still don't.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
It lined up to so I did it on my 38th birthday.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So John Pinder and Andrew Wolf had their solo shows at the Lounge.
Very funny boys.
Very funny boys. And John was like, you should open for me because it's on your birthday and then you'll just start there. And I was like, I'm not doing that. And then about a week later, after I'd thought on it a bit, I was like, all right, I will do it actually.
Yeah.
And then Wolfie was like, well, if you're opening for him, you're opening for me too. And it just went from there.
That's nice.
And did they know you from like your writing world? How do they know you? Yeah. From your online stuff?
From like social media stuff. And I think at that point, I was writing on Mock the Week at that point.
Okay.
Too. So I'd been writing for about 7 or 8 years at that point. Like it was my job.
Yes.
But I hadn't.
Comedy writer. Yeah.
Yeah, but I hadn't really wanted to perform until I did start doing panel shows, and then you see people laughing and clapping at the jokes that you'd write, but not getting anything for it. And I thought, actually, it might be nice to stand up there and do it.
Yeah. And when you open for these shows, so I'm assuming your first and second gigs, how did they go?
They went really good, but they were like full starts because they were the Comedy Lounge.
Yes.
They were packed. Everyone knew that it was my birthday and my first time because that's how they brought
Very
me
clever.
up. So it was like a super full start. And then I got booked to do a weekend at the Lounge like a couple of weeks after that. And then it really kind of exposed the fact that I was like super, super green. So I was like, I better do some work.
Yeah. Oh. Yep. But yeah, everyone, when they start, it's really hard. We had a young bloke who opened for us in Coolaman, and he's like a local fella. Zach, he was a great guy. Zach Robinson, and his whole family was there. Like his whole family, a huge table full of his family. Thank heavens we got him to open in the end, actually. And he was new, and the thing that made him seem new was a little bit nervous. And when you're that nervous, it's really hard to do for the audience to relax. Yeah. So not only everyone in the town knew him, and he was a bit nervous. So it was like he did fine. He did fine, didn't he? Yeah, but the audience couldn't and it's sit back and
such a pressure gig for him as well. It's like your town.
Yeah, you just fuck up and it's a small town.
Yeah, it's a small town and a full thing. And you could see his fucking I think it was his older brother, was just arms folded like, go on, mate.
Make me laugh.
We're shooting the answer, you champ. All right. And you just know his brother's like, I can't wait if he fucks this up.
Yeah.
Well, no one. So tomorrow's my birthday. It will be my 4th year doing comedy.
Oh, my God.
And I still, to this day, my wife's never been. None of my family.
No.
My sister did come to sit down. I couldn't stop her.
Yeah.
Sorry,
well, she would have had to. Emma had to come. You know her town where she lives, as if she's going to be like, that's fine.
No, I know.
Let me know how it goes.
Yeah. But
there's nothing to do in Brisbane.
But it was still hard because it's like,
did you go well?
I didn't want people. Yeah, but I didn't want anyone there. It's just you never want anyone there.
So you would, if your wife said, "Excuse me, it's time for me to come see you," would you?
Oh,
say
then I'd
no?
just be like, "Yeah, absolutely, go for it." But she gets I don't know. I feel like the worlds should be kind of like separate.
Yeah, beautiful.
There's your family, and then there's your work.
Yeah, but I mean, it'd be nice for her to see what you're travelling for.
She knows what I'm travelling for.
Yeah, but like, it'd be nice for her to see, like,
if
you
sees
thrive.
The bomb.
Yeah,
don't wanna see
exactly.
the
You don't want to
bomb.
see the bomb.
You're like,
She won't
I'm never
see a
getting
bomb.
laid again, dude.
Well, you wouldn't know. She wouldn't see a bomb. She wouldn't see a bomb.
The risk of the bomb's too scary.
No,
It
it's
is.
not.
Or the risk of her causing the bomb.
Oh, because
'cause I
you'd be
just get
nervous.
so
Yeah.
Like so that first gig that I did for Pinder, I didn't realise that when you're on stage you can't see anything.
Yes.
Apart from the front row. And two of my friends came, but they didn't tell me. And I was like, well, that's perfect. If you're going to do it that way. Just come, sit there, and then come and talk to me afterwards. That was great.
Yeah, great. Oh, and they would have seen you thrive.
Yeah.
So that's great. And then also, because a lot of people come and see their friends at the start of their career, and like Club Voltaire, where it's just so bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad. And you, and then they never come again because they're like, well, obviously you're shit at it. And it's like, no, I was shit at the start. I'm actually fine now.
Yeah,
I'm actually
right
good now.
Yeah.
Come on, please. They're like, no, I've seen enough. So if your friends to see you go well at the start, that's pretty good.
Yeah, they've also been to more recent ones, like those particular ones. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind that. But
I think you are particularly hard on yourself because I remember I did a gig with you in Perth and it was a really hard room. Like it was a strange room, and it was also
the Leaderville one that we did together?
I think so.
Yeah.
And it was, the audience was really tired. I can't remember why it was hard. But you went up and you did fine considering the room, and no one did. No, but you came up and you were like, that was you had to leave immediately.
It was
you were like,
horrible.
that was the worst. I was like,
but
oh, Christ, that wasn't even that bad.
I'm just thinking about all my gigs if you think that's bad.
Yeah,
I was like,
I know.
a lady pulled the microphone out of my hand on the weekend.
Yeah.
What,
Not
really?
in Coolman.
Yeah, I got video footage of it.
That was 2 weekends ago. Coolman, they were very well behaved. How dare
They
you?
were beautiful and cool.
No, but
I
the
loved
2 weekends just down the road.
Someone came up and...
Yes. She grabbed the microphone out of my hand and
She had better
then she
jokes.
started yelling at me because she thought I was the MC who made fun of her. Completely different person, looked completely different. And I had to stop the gig so they could remove her. And she's like, "You fucking bloody, you're uneducated." And she looked like she's like came back from a Taylor Swift concert and she's fucking 70 or whatever. It was had a cowboy hat on, and I was like, "This." And I was on a date.
You're just describing half of Perth. That's
Yes.
all you're doing right now.
I was on a date with a person for the first time. It was the first time they saw me do comedy.
Oh,
And it was
God.
the lady in the
this is
cowboy
why
hat.
you don't mix the worlds.
Yeah. But I was like, in my head, I was like, I'm dead on the inside, so I don't care. Like, this is fine, I guess. This is funny.
How did the rest of it go after the microphone incident?
Well, we had to stop the gig, and then we started again, and it was 10 minutes later, and it was just like, we can't even believe this guy is getting back up. If that was me, I would have jumped off the side of the building. But since there was only fucking 11 people at the gig, and I've never been recognised more from a gig, because people were coming up to me like 2 days later. There was a lady at this bar. She's like, "Oh my God, you're that comedian." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm Brett Blake." She's like, No. From the other night, the lady pulled the mic, and I was like, "Oh, fuck, you were at that gig, were you? Damn it." And she's like, "I've been telling everyone about it." I was like, "Shut the
Stop
fuck
telling
up."
everyone about it.
And then I bumped into a random chick on the street, and she's like, "I was at that gig with I was like, "Don't tell anyone."
Yeah. I've been spreading it. I've sent all the video to everyone. It's
Ah,
gone
it's
viral.
fucking-
You
I've
and
gone
your
viral.
Now
and
it's
there's a
on
forward
here.
at the end of it.
I know. I'll put it up on the Patreon. You guys can check it out. It's awesome.
That's a good idea.
It's a great
Tick
idea.
that one off. So David, you obviously had jobs before this. So before you were a comedy writer, what's the worst job you've ever had?
I think the worst job I've ever had was wanking off horses on a farm.
Beg your pardon?
Yeah, that one.
Really?
Can we say that on here?
Yep.
Yeah. Unless it was a hobby. You know, it's not bestiality or something. If it's an actual job, if you just like it's a passion project, I reckon it's a bit fucked.
No, I lived near a farm and I thought they're not going to mind. So
Yeah. They got big dicks. Let's have some
They
fun.
can't do it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well,
This is
but
how'd
that's-
you get this job?
Okay, when you do the working holiday thing, you have
I was
to
in
do,
Australia.
Yeah, it was
We
in
made you do
Australia.
it.
Yeah,
I'm
you
so
lot made me do
sorry.
it.
I'm
You have to
sorry.
do one of those.
You want to fucking stay here, mate? You got to wank that
fucking
horse off.
pull those
Got
horses
him.
off.
You could have actually picked blueberries, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, I had to do rural work on a farm.
Yeah.
So-
God, there are. Yeah, that I've never heard anyone have to do that one. They were
think they
teasing
Didn't
you.
have to.
Didn't have to.
Didn't have to. Chose
Like,
to.
David, use your hands, mate. Use your hands.
No, you use a clarinet case. You use this long old fucking. So honestly, the process is this, right? You get out a stallion, and he's all like, we're just doing normal horsey stuff today, and then a lady woman horse walks by, and that's called
Lady
teasing.
woman.
A lady woman horse.
Hello. A lady. It's a lady woman horse.
She's had her nails done. She looks amazing.
She's got a little like skirt on. the stallion's like he's in this thing. It's like I can't remember what they call it because it was a long time ago. But he's in this like thing so he can't move either side. Or anything.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, no, he's not
like
for that.
partitioned in.
Yeah, no, actually, he's not for that. He's just tied up.
Oh, right.
But he's still quite hard to control because he sees her and he's like, fucking give me that.
Right.
And then we have to like walk her around and then he just gets a horse stiffy and then you get the
Very
clarinet
confronting.
case.
Is it actually a clarinet case?
No, but it looks like one because
Okay.
it has to be long, obviously.
Yeah.
So it's this long like thing that it does look like a clarinet case, but it's got like a
well
bit
be.
for his willy, and then it's got a plastic bag in there, like a bin bag or whatever. And then
It's a massive pocket pussy.
then he
That's what it is. You can buy a pocket pussy, Brian. Grow up.
I'm upset.
am I making you uncomfortable?
No,
I'll stop
you're
talk-
fine. Brett just always does it.
Oh,
He
okay.
just
Go
knows.
too far,
He
apparently.
always just is upsetting
So
me.
the horse does his thing in there, and
Yes.
then that was the job because they would use it to artificially inseminate some other horses.
And
on
you
the
have to
farm.
give it a
Sure.
bit of fucking, you know.
No, you don't do anything.
Bit of wrist
What do
or
you
whatever.
mean?
You have to. You gotta make the fucking thing come, dude.
You actually have to move it up and down.
It helps.
Did they?
Have you never wanked? Is your
Have
husband
I never
just got
wanked?
the
Have I
wo-
never wanked? No,
Is
I've
your
never
husband
wanked.
got the worst blue balls in the world?
Are you kidding me? I'm going to fight you today.
I know, I
I
can
knew
feel
there'd be
it.
I
Glad I'm
didn't
sat
think
in
it would
the
be
middle.
with poor David.
I know.
He's brought his British manners, and you've brought nothing.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
I brought my uneducated opinions.
Fuck,
Unfortunately, though, you do kind of have to. Yeah.
You gotta fucking
You
give
do.
it a
So
couple
you
of
would
pumps,
obviously
dude.
someone showed you how to do it first.
No,
'Cause
I
otherwise-
knew how to do it. Are you kidding me?
And okay, so you went and did that.
Part of
and
the
then,
interview was like, "Do you think you could?" I was like, "I know I could.
I know what's needed.
I definitely can do this job."
This is okay. And how long did
Also,
you have
can
to
I
do
borrow
that
that
for?
clarinet case?
Why? This is not going to work on me.
It's not gonna work.
How long did you
I do
have to do that for?
Oh, not long, like 2
or choose
years.
to do that.
No, I
2
did. No, I didn't.
years?
Not long. 2
No, no.
years
No, no.
every day.
So I was on. No, it's not every day. There's breeding season, so it doesn't last for very long anyway. But I was on that farm for like 2 years, but I didn't do that very much.
You'd hope not.
No,
Oh, that's a fucking jaw on the short
half
straw.
a dozen horses maybe.
How much comes out?
Fuck.
Now,
Are you
I was
kidding me?
I was inappropriate. Now
What
you're
did I
asking
say?
about
Which
horse-
word did I say was inappropriate?
You're asking about horse literage now. How many
Great.
mil?
Everything that you said just then, fine with me.
Right.
Great.
How
Everyone's
big were their cums,
fine.
David? Sorry.
I would never say that word, you fucking idiot.
Okay, I'm getting yelled
I've got
at
a
again
guest
on-
here.
Sorry, we
Fucking hell. I'm
They-
so sorry.
They
He's so
they
annoying.
do that whole bag load of cum.
A bag, like
Yeah.
like a bag, like
Yeah,
a
like a
gar-
bag. Like you could fill that water bottle up behind you with it.
Holy
probably.
moly! Okay,
my God.
so like a litre and a half.
That's a lot of cum.
Yucky.
A lot of cum. Yeah. And then they do some other thing where they like freeze it and then do something else to it.
Yeah, I understand what it's for. That's great. It's not for. It's
Makes
not
little
just.
babies.
It's just like, oh, cute. See, that's nice. See, what you did was nice with this information. What you did is fucking sick in the head. Okay.
I don't even know what I just said. Horse cum, and I'm in trouble again. You know, I'm always in trouble. Actually, can I tell this
Think-
story? I'm gonna
think
fucking do
carefully.
it anyway. No,
Yeah,
no, no.
please.
I know more about just getting something thrown at you.
It's not my story, but I'm going to say it anyway. So there was a crazy, like we were doing some work, like
What?
film work. And
Okay.
There was a crazy horse on this film site. Like,
On purpose?
Pardon? Yes.
purpose?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't want to give too much information away. And it was fucking causing chaos in the background. It was meant to be a trained animal or whatever.
Did you wank it off?
No. But because the horse was so wound up, the lady's like, "Yeah, just give us 5." And she walked over there and
No.
just jerked the horse off. And then the horse just was
Fine.
calm for the rest of the day.
Yeah, so it was a stallion.
Yeah. So he's a bit randy. That's why he's like that. I was like,
And she did it with her bare hand.
just on set, we're like, what just happened there?
I'm upset.
Yeah.
They're horrible dicks too. They're like plunges. They flare out at the end. It's awful.
No, they don't.
They do.
That is
He's
horrible.
done 2 years of jacking horses off. He knows what a horse's dick looks like, dude. It flares at the end.
Oh my god.
Like bell bottoms.
Yeah, not as much as like I think pigs
Like
have
a
got really
trumpet.
bad ones because they, I didn't know
Pigs.
this.
Oh.
I didn't know this, but apparently when dogs do it, they get stuck together for a
Yeah.
bit.
It's
they
very
got
sore,
little
I think.
spiky
Spur
things.
things,
Spurs
yeah.
that come out. Ducks have something similar, and a pig's got a
Dogs don't do that.
ducks are most ducks are
Sorry, I knew I'd
most
ruin
ducks
your
are
day.
rapists apparently as well.
Pardon?
Yes, they're very aggressive during sex, and pigs have a corkscrew penis.
That is fucking vile.
Like their tails.
Yes, but in their penis. I think it was a pig. Yeah,
I
I know a lot
I-
about animal dicks. I don't know why.
Did you think this is what this podcast was about?
I'd hoped. I'd hope this would be the case.
Yeah.
Someone wrote in once a bit of feedback. Went, wow, I've learned a lot about Brett's dick in this episode. And I always said, you have no... And one hadn't even come out. You talked heaps about your
Wait,
dick.
the dick heavy episode hadn't come out, and she was like, "I know so much about Brett's anatomy now."
I'm like, wait, well, you learn. We go through all the animals in the next one.
It was a supercar driver who I'm a big fanboy of.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
Was on, and I just talked about my penis for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
What the fuck was I thinking?
Well, thankfully, he's talked about pigs' penises in this one. And what else? Which other one? Horses.
What
else you got?
Duck,
dogs.
Duck and dogs.
Are you finished or?
I am finished.
Oh, well
Thank you,
done.
Bron.
Okay, great. So is that the worst job you've ever had? Do you reckon? Because that's pretty grim.
I also used to work at Wetherspoons. Do you know what Wetherspoons are?
Oh, I do know. It's cheap beer there. I love Wetherspoons.
Yeah, it's fine if you go there. It's just
a pub.
It's McDonald's pubs. Yeah, basically, it's like the McDonald's of pubs. And
what is our one that we have over there? The Great Outback Pubs.
Oh yeah. What do you have?
Is it just Outbacks?
Just Outbacks?
Yeah.
Fuck, I can't remember. No, it's something else. Anyway,
okay, yeah.
It's where everyone's been doing the whole Foster's thing forever.
Yes, great.
Because you guys drink that so much. That might have been the worst job in the sense that like started sort of early onset alcoholism and just went, this is good, this is fun. I reckon that was a bad, because I did that when I was like 21 or 22.
Because you don't drink at all anymore, do you? I just ruined it. So it's too much of a good thing. Probably.
I think that's why. I don't think I would have started drinking as much as I did if I didn't work in a pub environment, because it's just fun. It's funny because the person we had on before you, Ben Lomas, today he was like, I'm celebrating my 7th year of sobriety, and he was talking about his worst job being in working in a hostel where he just got obliterated like every single night. Yeah. So I don't think you can drink that much and recover from that. You have to just have nothing. Yeah. Oh, Brady, you need to get a job at a pub.
I used to work at a pub, but I've never given
up.
Just
didn't work on you.
Just didn't work on me. I kept going. And now I've created a podcast. I don't even want to do this podcast. I just want to access to this bar. You know what I mean?
So that was a bad one. Okay. Just too drunk all the time.
Because it's a real cheap, it's like the cheapest beer you can get is at this Wetherspoons. So bring in the biggest
Also, we stole it all the time. So
What do you mean?
What?
You bet like the bartender stole it. Or do you mean he stole it from other pubs? What are you saying?
What am I saying?
Oh my God, this is an expose now.
There's a lot of scams that go on in the pub world, and they result in you sort of sorting your stocks out very well. To make sure that you're not missing out on bonuses and stuff. And if you are so inclined, you can drink some of that spare stock. I wouldn't do that, obviously.
No,
never did. No. Don't know anyone who ever has, but if you wanted to.
You've heard of it.
Yeah.
What was the food? I always felt like the food at Wetherspoons is out of a freight container from
Oh, it's
somewhere.
so funny because they would have like Sunday roast dinners and everything on that plate was from a microwave.
Yeah.
There wasn't, even the meat. The meat comes in like a bag with like gravy in it already, and they put that in a microwave.
No.
And yeah.
It's so cheap. I remember I went for a piss at Wetherspoons because you get drawn in because you'll see like £2 pint and you're like, fuck yeah, dude, I'm going to this Wetherspoons having like 8 beers. But I went out for a piss at the background and it was like I was staring at the chef was like looking at the Matrix because it was just like 18 microwaves.
Oh, wow.
And he's just like, like pressing all the buttons. I'm like, oh, I'm not eating anything from here. I did, but still.
Did.
Yeah.
And they're not chefs.
Yeah. And then you're like, chefs.
They're not chefs.
He had a wine.
There was no TAFE. There was no TAFE involved in this. Okay, so that's a pretty bad one. And then did you quit in spectacular fashion? Have you ever? I can't imagine you ever quitting in spectacular fashion.
I quit my when I was like, I don't know, however old you are when you have a paper round, like 12 or 13 or something. Okay. And I quit a paper round, what I thought was in spectacular fashion, because I was just like, do you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. It was like Sunday. The papers are heavier anyway. I was like, it was cold. It's England. It's just like fucking Melbourne weather. Yeah. I was like, this can get fucked. I'm not doing this. So I took the bag off and I put it in a bin and I just went back to bed. And I was like, yeah, but then I didn't realize that they were like, they called me later on. They were like, where did all the papers go? And I was like, oh, I quit. And he went, yeah, look, you can't do that. You need to bring the bag back because that's our bag. And then also those papers, you have to pay for those if you don't. Oh my God. And I was like, oh, how much are they? It was like £70 or something because there were Sunday papers and there were so many of them.
Did you go back to the bin?
Yeah, I got back to the bin, got the bag back and then just went and delivered the papers and went, all right, well, I quit from now.
Oh, that is such a miser of a quiz.
That is the worst quick. I'm like, I'm in bed. I won. You're like, oh, I can't afford £70.
I don't have that kind of money. That
Go
might
back into the bin.
But I've
Amazing.
never. Although I quit my the job that I had before I started. Like before writing started taking off, I wouldn't say I quit in spectacular fashion, but I kept like whittling it down because you want that safety net. You're like, well, I don't know if this writing thing's going to work full time, so you keep like one day and all that. And then eventually, and it was my wife basically, she was just like, just fucking stop going in, would you? It's pointless. Like, the amount of money you make from the day job compared to other stuff is pointless now. Don't do it. But I was always like, I need to have the safety net.
Yeah.
So quitting that, it wasn't spectacular fashion, but that's probably that's the most amazing like quitting thing ever.
Yeah, it feels so good.
Yeah.
Well, can I ask you about your writing jobs? Because like, who have you written for? If you don't, can you even tell? I don't even know. Like, can you tell us?
Yeah, I can tell some stuff. So most recently and still is the project.
Mm-hmm. That's where we worked together. We worked together on the project.
Nice.
We did. Very funny on it. A lot of his jokes got up. I wouldn't know though. Didn't watch it. I'm assuming though. I read your jokes and I was like, that's very funny. I'm not even going to try.
Does anyone watch it?
No one watches it.
I'm a big fan.
You are not. You just want to get on it.
It always comes on late at night when I'm like in a motel somewhere. It has a repeat at like 11 or 12.
Oh,
and I'm like, just if it's on in the background, the shitty motel, you're like, oh, fuck, I'll just watch it. Can't be fucked thinking. So I end up watching a lot of episodes.
Well, I hope you get on it one day, mate.
I've been on it before.
Oh, shut up.
Thank you.
Oh, you were on. I remember the special segment. We had to like write. I remember. I think we both had to write something for.
What was the segment?
You had a special one where it was just you and Taunts, and he asked you.
Oh no, I've been on the project twice. Then I've been on the desk as well.
Have you?
Many
like
moons.
as like one of the panelists, or just as a guest
as if they're gonna let me read the order. I can't read. They're like auto cue, like cut to Brett, like and in Ukraine. No, it's just like they were asking me about a show I had.
Oh yeah.
And I was just up there talking.
Lovely.
So are you actually dyslexic?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep, it's a nightmare. It's real fun.
I think I have it with numbers.
Do you? Yeah, there's a number one, a numeracy.
It's not. It doesn't like massively. And it's not like I just can't add up. But there's something like if I have to remember the number 3, I might remember the number 3, but I also might remember the number 7 because of how far away it is from 10. So 7 being 3 away from 10.
Goodness.
So if you go like, I need 3 of them, I'm like, right, they need 3 of them. Wait, they need 7 of them or they need 3 of them?
That's fucking interesting that your head works that way.
6 and 4 is the same. 8 and 2 is the same. 1 and 9 isn't quite the same. It doesn't usually happen with 1 and 9 because I think they're too big a difference.
I could
even though
you so easy. Yeah,
even though 8 and 2 is a bit straight to that.
My God.
I could rip this guy off.
Yeah.
So
easy.
easy.
I'm making some cash today.
I gave you an $80 note. Oh, did you?
Yeah.
That would work probably too. I was like, he just must have. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Poor David.
Just take the till.
Yeah. So the project, where else?
Mock the Week was like one of my big first ones.
That's huge. That's
And
such a
then-
big show.
And then that got me a few on Have I Got News for You? Then what else? What else do we do? I did Trailer Park Boys, the animated Trailer Park Boys and cartoon and comic book stuff for a bit. And that was really fun. Macaulay Culkin got me that job.
No.
Yeah, because he had a website called Bunny Ears, and I was writing for him for like a year or something.
Really?
And then, yeah, he has. It's basically like
How'd that happen?
what is it, like a BuzzFeed type thing or something like that?
And so he just saw your tweets and was like, "You're hilarious."
I think so.
Macaulay Culkin.
I think so.
That's
As in, I can't really remember
wild.
how I got the job, but
You can't even remember how Macaulay Culkin contacted
no, because
you.
a lot of the
It's just
time,
like another
It's
day.
the coolest thing I've ever heard.
Holy
Macaulay
shit.
Culkin from Home Alone got me a job, and I don't really remember.
no, I remember
remember.
that. I just don't remember starting working for him. I don't think it wasn't like Macaulay Culkin approaching everyone going, "Hey, do you want to write for us?" It was some of the
Someone
other
else.
like staff writers and stuff.
And this is from your tweets.
Yeah, that definitely was. And then it was funny because writing for Trailer Park Boys came from because they knew that I'd written for comics, but comics meaning comedians as far as I was concerned, comics meaning comic books as far as they were concerned.
Yep.
So there was a little confusion there, but I still got the job anyway.
And so do you think it's easier to write your own jokes or for someone else to say?
I think because I've written them for someone else for so long, there's no real distinction now. It's just like a mode switch. You just go, I'm doing this today. Like when we're on the show and you go like, oh, you have to write about this story. Sometimes you don't really care too much about that story. It doesn't really like excite you, but you can find the funny thing to slide in there, I think.
But do you have like, say if you're writing for one comedian, like do you need to know who it's for? who's saying it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, okay,
Because
great.
the voice changed then.
Yeah,
you
the
know
voice
what I mean?
changes completely. Like there was episodes, and I'd never do it again, but there was episodes of like Mock the Week where I'd be writing for 2 panelists, and that's like 300 to 400 jokes like per person.
Oh my God.
On the same, and it has to, and on the same stuff too, but it has to, you can't just go like, oh, I'll give 10 to, because you write them in a different voice.
Yeah.
So they have to be like completely different. So I mean, they
300
probably don't
jokes.
have to be, but I do think that if you were writing for, and I'll give you an example just of someone that I have never written for, but if you were writing for some comedian, like if I was writing for you and I was also writing for James Acaster, I can't just split the two between you, because stuff that I've written for James coming out of your mouth, people just be like, why the fuck is he talking like that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Why is he not talking about his penis?
Yeah, he should be talking about cars and dicks.
Yeah, yes, thank you. You get me, dude. Can
Wow,
you?
you should write Brett's show.
Yeah, fuck. I was going to say, you can write 300 jokes. Dude, I need like heaps of them.
That's why the project was such a change of pace. Like when they brought me on, and it used to be, I think it was like, what was it, 4 to 6 when I started? You just had to write 4 to 6 jokes on each thing.
And you're like, what?
Yeah, and there would be like 3 story or 3 chats that we had to do that for.
So easy.
So it was like, like 12
But
jokes.
yeah, because that's 300 jokes per episode per person.
Yeah, but I
That's
didn't do that
so
often.
many.
That was just like one time when I was like, all right, this is too much.
Yeah.
Because your ego goes, oh, I can easily do that. That was when I don't know why I'm telling this story, but that was when I started. I tried. What are they called? That people with ADHD take.
Oh, dexamphetamines.
Yes.
Yes.
Because I was like, these will make me productive,
Yes.
and they
Do
really did.
Okay, great. Okay, maybe I'll get some. All right, great.
They made me.
Ready, can I have yours?
Yeah.
But because I took them for like 4 days
Yes.
while I was doing that writing, and I was in the gym early, and I was feeling I didn't need pre-workout, oddly enough.
Yeah. Yeah, you had amphetamines, dude.
Yeah, and I felt like great. I was like, I see why people do this now. But then I stopped because I didn't need to take them anymore. That job had finished. That episode had finished, and I had the worst withdrawals.
Really?
It was fucking
that's not good.
brutal.
Oh,
And I've never
no.
done
I don't
drugs
want 'em.
before, so I didn't know. I had no like reference point. I didn't know. I should know that once something leaves your body, that there's going to be a thing that happens.
After
But
4 days.
yeah, 4 days of. Oh well, I also found out that 4 days of like a lot.
Oh, you were having a lot.
I didn't realize I was having a lot because I didn't know what the dosage was. I was just like 3 of these will do. Just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
That sounds like me with all drugs. Like, I don't know anything about it, but I'm going to fucking start with this number.
I might take 10 Panadol today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who cares? Okay, so when you started comedy, because you've been in the comedy world, to some degree already for a long time, when you were like, going from that leap from writing to performing, and I know you said it took you a week and for your friends to offer you excellent jobs for you to finally agree to it, did you think you were going to be better at it? Because like you said, you had when you finally went back into like the real world of like open mics where everyone has to start, were you surprised at how hard it was, even though you knew exactly how to write a joke?
Yeah.
You know what's funny. You got a huge following. You're old enough to have lived a life where you've actually got things to talk about. Like so many of the checklist of how to be good at comedy, you've ticked already. But at the start, you said you struggled a bit. Were you surprised?
I wasn't surprised because I don't think I could have. I built it up so much in my head for how difficult it would be. Like I'd watch the rest of you on stage doing your thing, and it always looks effortless. And I'm like, I know it can't be. Like I know that has to be thousands of fucking hours of reps on stage.
Yeah.
Like I've even before I got into it, I always thought that just watching any special or anything like that, I'm just like, this guy's been doing it forever, and that's why he makes it look so easy. That's why she's doing it that way.
Because I think that everyone thinks it's easy.
No, I never thought. That's why I didn't want to do it, because I was like, I'll fuck it, and I'll hate comedy, and it will just completely break my heart. And it kind of like I was heartbroken for a bit because I was like, I really thought I'd be better at it than this.
Yeah,
This is like, it's, so to answer your question, yes, but I guess secretly probably just went, oh no, I really wanted to be a little bit better by now.
And did you feel more pressure to be good at it straight away?
A huge amount of pressure because of all that. Yeah.
Because of all.
Because everyone's like, he already writes on X, Y, and Z, so he'll be fine. And I was like, why would I be fine? I've never had to speak to a room full of people before.
Yeah, because I was going to say then it's like because writing jokes for people is one thing, but then you're coming from your perspective and establishing your persona for those jokes to work.
Exactly.
That's the whole thing.
If I'm writing for you, like I write a joke and then I give it to you and you go, oh yeah, that's funny. I'm like, right, well my job's done now. But then I go, all right, well I'll write this for me, and I go, well that's funny, and then I go take it to an audience and they go, well that's not funny, dude. You're like, it's all on me now. Buck stops here.
You have to
and I was
sell
never
it.
used to that. Yeah.
But but now you just did a run at the Comic Lounge. You had a great time.
Yeah, I love it now.
You love it now.
I love it now. I mean, I've loved it pretty much since I started. That was the only reason that I haven't taken a break since I started.
Good.
Because I completely fell in love with it. I was just like, I wish sometimes it wasn't as hard as it was.
Yeah.
But I'm glad it's hard too.
Yeah.
Because then everyone would do it.
Exactly. Everyone would do it. And then I don't know, I feel like I wouldn't, a bit cheesy, but I probably wouldn't cherish it as much. I really do think it's an amazing thing to be able to do.
Yeah.
Like when people go, hey, can you come and do a spot here? You're like, oh, that's amazing. Thanks.
Oh my God. Okay, if I have to. My wife certainly won't be coming.
Yeah.
She hates it. All right. So if you were to give advice, and we've never asked this to anyone who's new to comedy or they're going to start doing it, what would it be?
I just to do every gig.
Every gig, yeah. Even the shit ones.
Yes, the shit ones are where you learn.
Sometimes they are, I think, but then sometimes I think you're just like have you must have done a gig before. You went, nothing's come from this. This is fucked. This is horrible. Yeah. I just feel angry about having to be here.
The one that we did you leave that and go, I learned nothing?
No, I learned a fair bit about that one.
Yeah, okay.
But like I did one a couple of weeks back in Perth where we get there and it's in a pub and it's fully lit. The music is playing and there is no stage.
Why would there be?
And it's a cordless mic and the host is just walking around accosting people while they're eating.
Sensational.
It was the worst setup ever. And the guy who was on before me, he was like, I don't want to fucking do this. And then he did about 3. We were supposed to do 10 each. He did like 3 or 4 minutes, and then he went, no one's listening. And so he just left. He put the mic down and he left. And then I was about to do the same. I was about to leave because we had a gig together. He and I had a gig together at the next venue, and I was going to go with him, and I was just about to leave, and then the MC called my name, and I was like, all right, fuck it, what harm can it do? And then I just said a few things, just asking people what's going on, what they're doing and stuff. And then the mic cut out and I was like, perfect. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyway, bye.
It was the word. But then I was mad at the guy who put the gig on because I was like, the bare minimum that you should do is to have like fucking seats facing a stage and have people in.
It's fucking surprising how many comedians have been in the game so long and they still struggle with seating, stage, lighting, microphone, light. It's fucking, there's not that many elements you have to get right. And they still, like I walk into comedy clubs or new comedy clubs sometimes and I go, well, this job is hard, but you've made it 20 times harder than it needs to be.
Yeah, because the front row is like 30 fucking feet away from me and it's this bright. Like,
Well, Bronnie did a gig on the weekend, and she's like, it was the first time I did this golf course before, and it was huge. I was like, we'll get there early, and we'll make it look good. We borrowed someone's curtain. We got a nice light. We got music playing off a boombox. We're like, looks good. And people were like, oh, yeah. So, like, it saved it. Yeah. It's already hard, and why would you want to battle an extra thing?
Yeah,
you know?
And then people, I think, well, I hope in that instance where you get there and, you sort things out, people might notice that and appreciate that you've done.
Yeah, they go, it's a nice light, and then your eyes are drawn there. Good. Music sounds good. You're like, I'm looking forward. It's like those fucking elements. Otherwise, you're just standing in a room going, hey, I've broken my dick again.
I've never said that. To be fair.
Never? Not once?
Never. So what is the worst gig?
That was the worst gig.
That's the worst gig. Oh, wow. That recently?
That was the fucking, that was awful.
Oh, my God.
That was awful.
Oh, my God. And did you have, when you were leaving the room, looking at all the comedians who hadn't been on yet, could you just see how much they were wanting to leave as well?
Yeah, but then, so I get to my next one, and then I just check in with one of the guys that I know that's on, and I was like, did that mic turn back on? And he went, yeah, but they cancelled the gig. They cancelled the gig mid-fucking gig.
Oh,
that's how bad this gig was. That's how not a gig this gig was.
The audience wouldn't have even noticed.
They didn't, because they weren't there for it. They just happened to be there when a comedy night was going on. It wasn't like promoted. They didn't. I know you have like free comedy shows here, but they don't exist in Perth. There are no free shows. Every show is ticketed.
Yeah.
Fuck, you guys have so much money over there.
Yeah. Open mic. There's open mics that operate for like $20.
No.
Yeah. Even back in the day when I was a Perth comic, when I started, like, what was it, fucking 12 years ago, 13 years ago, I was making like $300 or $400 a week off comedy.
Really?
Because everything was paid, and they'd be like, and you get 30% or whatever the fuck it is. I could get paid so much money. I'd be like, man, this is fucking sick. And then I came to Melbourne. I didn't get paid for 5 years. Yeah. And there's all these free gigs. We're like, we don't do free gigs in Perth, you know?
And as soon as you're like out of the bottom sort of the barrel, I guess, where you're just kind of starting. As soon as you like rise up a tiny bit, you start getting so many paid opportunities, and then that's when people will typically start putting their own gigs on, because they go like, oh, I can put a gig on and charge, if I fill this room 150 people, like I can make like $5,000 in ticket sales.
Very clever. God, there's a lot of money over
there.
there.
Yeah, it's tons of money.
And you guys, I reckon Perth audiences are some of my favourite audiences.
Yeah, I do.
So I've only done it.
Brisbane.
I've only done it here, Brisbane and Perth, and I presume it's because I'm just used to doing it there. But I'm like, Perth audiences are very good.
They're very good.
But they also, they come out.
Yeah, for comedy.
Yeah, like some of my friends that are here doing open mics, and they were like, oh yeah, I did a gig the other night and there was like 2 people there.
Yes.
And that's apparently quite common.
Yeah.
Mm. An open mic, yeah.
Yeah.
But whereas Perth, like, there's a smaller amount of gigs, but people are like, I'm going out, I'm fucking having a Palmer, I'm having a few bit. They make it a big event. Whereas Melbourne, we're kind of spoiled. We're like, oh, there's a pub 2 seconds down the road. I guess I'll swan in and watch something.
Oh, there's comedy.
Yeah.
When I did a gig once, this was ages ago, it was before COVID. One of my first gigs, I went and it was at a taco bar. It was near North Melbourne Markets. It was a taco shop, and it was like cheap taco night and comedy, but the comedy wasn't promoted at all. But there were 2 hosts who sat down in a stool at the back of the courtyard, and they both had very low energy.
Oh, is it outside? Yeah, I've done this one. Yeah, I've done this one.
This sounds amazing.
Oh my God, it was so bad. So the beer garden is full of people because they're there for the cheap tacos, but they're there not for the comedy at all, and they're there trying to talk to each other. And then there's open micers getting up terrified and going, hey, so I went to my mum's house and she's a bitch. And like nothing, or someone getting up and being like, hey, so I was fucking my girlfriend yesterday. It's like, there is a lady in her 70s
eating,
trying to work out what a fucking taco is. Can you give her a little space? She's not going to eat it now. Oh my, it is just the worst. And I was like, this is like it's like a surprise comedy gig. And those ones I think are just hell, because everyone's annoyed you talking and you're already like, you're never going to win.
No.
Because no one wants you to talk in the first place.
That's what that pub one felt like. It was like everyone was just there to eat.
Can you shut? Yeah, exactly.
Hey guys, I know you're all here to watch the football, but we're just going to turn the TVs off.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to stand in the corner and do comedy. Oh, this will go well.
Yeah,
what was your worst gig?
My worst gig still is were the ones my cousins were in the show. Have I mentioned this one on the show?
Is it about your dick?
There is a dick involved.
Okay.
So my first Perth Fringe show was called The Bartender's Guide to Idiots. And it had a great poster, and I sold out before I even landed in Perth. This was back in the heyday of Perth Fringe. Everything used to sell out. If it was at the TAFE, crazy. I'm like, I've made it. This is awesome. The third show in on the Saturday, so my 2 cousins come to the show, and they're like kind of sitting off to the right. Then my dad brings 2 of his workmates, and my dad's like, he loves sitting in the front row and staring at me going, ha ha ha, I'm going to ruin your show. So he's in the front row.
Amazing.
Then, and by the way, 2 of my cousins have never seen me do comedy before. My mate's dad's there. My mate Tony's there. Then my brother comes in with 3 of his prison guard friends. One of them passes out.
Great adjective to add in there as well. It's important you know what they did for a living.
Yeah, they're fucking loose cunts is what I'm trying to... One of them passes out, walking into the venue, like passes out. So my brother and his friend pick up this passed out guy, dragging him up the aisle.
Manhandle him.
Very
good.
Put him at the back. He's fucking passed. And then my brother starts... So I start the show. I think someone vomited.
Perfect.
And then I'm doing the show and my dad's like, laughing or whatever, inappropriately. Then my brother starts yelling out my punchlines before I get to him. And then he's getting in an argument with my other cousin and they're giving each other shit across the room. And then it's fuck, and dad's losing it because I'm bombing. His workmates are like, what the fuck? My brother's screaming at his friends. His drunk friends like, And then it was chaos for 40 minutes. And one of my other cousins on the other side who didn't know and all the audience don't know
that they're your family.
Yeah. Which they'd be like, you have to leave your family. They're awful. And I have a bottle of Jameson underneath this day, and I'm just slowly drinking it. I think I drank like 3/4 a bottle of a Jameson that day, and it was just...
While you're performing?
Yes, because it was the bartender's guide. I had a few prop bottles, and I was like, this is going so bad.
Yeah.
And I didn't get like one laugh because my brother would yell out the punchline beforehand, and he'd be like, and they were just, it was like the most chaotic show, and I couldn't control it, and I was like, shut the fuck up, Chris. And they're like, why are you screaming at Chris? I'm like,
who's Chris?
Yeah, who's Chris? And it was...
Chris is actually the
and
funniest guy
my dad is
in
like,
here.
it's still to this day, my dad thinks it's the best show he's ever seen. He's like, you were awful, but fuck, it was funny. Oh, we loved it.
And Chris was hilarious.
Your brother
Talk
was
about well-crafted jokes.
Yeah, he was killing it up the back. And then like, I could not control it, and I was just like a ghost. And one of my cousins like, oh yeah, we saw the show, yeah.
See,
It was okay. And I just bombed, and they've never, like, some of the cousins have never come back and saw me again. And my dad still thinks it's hilarious.
So now David's never going to invite his wife just in case she
Yeah.
does that.
That's why I was like, don't ever invite family.
How long ago was that?
About 7 or 8 years ago.
So you left Perth, were in Melbourne, and you'd gone back to do
my
the
first
Fringe.
solo show.
Yeah, fuck.
And
Has
my
your brother come back to see any more shows?
I hope not. I hope now when they see you like on TV or something, they go, "Oh, that's cute." They let him on TV now.
Yeah.
Honestly, some of my cousins, like when I'm on the, like they're like, "How? He's awful. He sucks, dude."
David must have written those jokes.
He's like, "How about the other comedians that they're letting this guy on there?" My brother,
Chris, get on the telly. Look how
brother
easy it is.
came back once, I think, to one show, and I was like, "You and your mates can't drink."
Yep.
But they did, and they were just like, they've just been fucking dickheads in the show. I was like, "You're not coming anymore, cunt." But then he came with I think he came with his wife before, and he was pretty chill. They've kind of chilled out with their old age. But yeah, Dad still thinks it's funny to sit in the front row and throw you off. Oh, you think it's funny that your son's struggling, do you?
Oh, these people paid, you fuckhead.
Oh
Just
my
let 'em.
God.
Even
Let 'em
comics
laugh.
sitting in the front. I've never understood that. Like when you if you're doing like a lineup or something, and then there's people that you know are comedians, and they're sat down in the front row looking at you like, what the fuck are you? Go
What are
sit
you
at the
doing,
back with
mate?
everyone
Yeah.
else.
And
Loser.
then friends who go, "Oh, we're gonna heckle you." You're like, "Why?"
I'll fight you.
Yeah. I'll come to your fucking job and shit on your desk, cunt.
Yeah, I'll
See how
fight
you
you.
like it.
I had during the Brisbane Comedy Festival, a friend's mum, my friend said to me, "Oh, my mum wants to come and see your show. I've bought her a ticket. It's Mother's Day." I was like, "Yeah, that's fine." And I know she was warning me. I wasn't thinking about it because I was just busy. Is because her mum is the biggest pest in the world. So she was coming by herself, and I'd forgotten that she was coming. And halfway through the show, 30 minutes into the show, I hear someone talking at the back, and I can't you can't see anything, like you said, from front row. And I was like, I can hear someone talking, and I could feel people getting kind of distracted. Even the front row was kind of turning around. I waited a second. I didn't address it. I didn't really have time, but I was like, I think it's finished. And they were still kind of talking, but I was like, I'll just talk louder. So I just talked louder, got on with the show. And then at the end of the show, I went out into the foyer, and my friend's mum was there. She's like in her late 60s, and she was talking at people going, "Yeah, so Bronnie is like her nephew is my daughter's, so we're kind of family like this or that." And there's two ladies that she's talking at, each like clutching their Prosecco. It's like, what the fuck? Who are you? And I'm like, "Oh, Sharon, come here, Sharon." She said, "Oh, I loved your show." I said, "Oh, that's great." And she goes, "But what time did it start?" I was like, "What time did you get in?" She told me the time, and I was like, "You came in half an hour late. Why'd you come in half an hour?" And she goes, "I was in the wrong show." And she told me she went to Nick White's show, who's a man with like a beard, and she went to his show.
God, Bronnie looks good.
Fucking hell. But she went and sat in the front row there. She got there half an hour early because she wanted to be front row centre to heckle. So she got to Nick White's show, sat in the front row. His name and face is on a screen, and she sat there. She was like, "Oh, that's weird." He comes out wearing a wig because he's playing this character called the dull co-worker, Carly.
Oh, yes.
So
she thinks it's you with a beard.
So exactly. So Carly comes out, does like 15 minutes of material. Sharon in the front row turns to a lady she doesn't know and goes, "When's Bronnie coming on?" She goes, "Who?" She goes, "Bron Lewis." And the lady goes, "I don't know who that is."
Yeah,
and she
stop
goes,
talking.
"Oh," and someone goes, "You're in the wrong show." She went, "Oh, for God's sake." She stands up, like storms through. Carly,
Quietly, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Carly, the dull co-worker goes, "Are you okay? Is everything all right?" And she goes, I'm in the wrong show. I'm supposed to be in Bron Lewis's show. And then like storms out. And then Nick White goes, sorry, did she think I was Bron Lewis for 15 minutes? And then everyone laughed. Everyone's like, what an idiot. Anyway, she comes to my show. The reason why there's so much talking, I learn, is because Sharon's saying to the lady, I need to sit in the front row because I need to heckle. I need to sit in the front row. And she's going, there's no room. It's completely full. You have to sit at the usher. You have to sit in the usher's seat.
Yeah, go sit with all Brett's family.
Yeah.
And then she goes, no, I'm going to be sitting. I know it. Her son is a bat. And then listen, and the woman's going, you got to be quiet. You have to. Anyway, eventually she sits where she's supposed to sit. And she says to me, I would have been great in the front row. And I said, what would you have done? She goes, well, you know that part where you asked the lady in the front row, do you like gossip? And the woman just said, yes. I go, yeah. And she goes, well, I would have said, shit, yeah. I was like, fuck, that is, you're right. You would have made that show so much better.
I need to go in the front row to heckle. It's like even some of my mates from back home, like I think it was Mully or whatever, and because he's like, oh, it's Brett. I know Brett. So yeah, I'll just stand up in the middle of his show and go order beer and loudly have a discussion with the bartender. It's like, I can hear you, cunt.
Yeah.
I'm on the stuff. I've yelled at one of my mates. He's like, you can't hear me. I was like, I can hear you. I'm having a conversation with you right now, cunt. I'm telling you I can hear you. And he's like, oh, he's so fucking dramatic. And you're like, oh, shut the fuck up. And you're like...
Yeah, family are no good in shows. You're right. God, you've made some really smart decisions.
I didn't think it was that smart until I listened to you two.
You thought it was just normal.
There's no wonder he gets these great jobs. He's wasting
I know. Well, you've got to wrap it up. But do you have anything to plug? David Hughes. Do you also, I have to ask, when people introduce you, when you come out on stage, because our most famous comedian in the entire country is called Dave Hughes. Yeah. Do people go, oh, and then when you walk out, they're like, oh, he looks different?
Well, I thought that, and the Comics Lounge was probably the only time where I felt the need to address it, because obviously my name is behind me. Yes. And it says it on the screen. Yes. So I just said, I should probably take this opportunity to thank the traditional owner of that name.
Yeah, very good.
That seemed to work.
Great.
So that was fine.
Nailed it.
So do you have anything to plug?
Not really, no. Just find me on socials. I'm David 8 Hughes everywhere.
Sweet.
David 8 Hughes. And there would be, most people who are listening to this probably already follow you, but if you don't, you'll get a lot of laughs and you'll share it, and then people will think that you're funny because you've shared it.
There is almost no horse dick related content, though.
That's such a relief.
He's just unfollowed me, yeah.
I'm out. Not for me.
David Hughes, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, guys. If you're not already on the Patreon, make sure you jump on there. Make sure you get onto the YouTube channel, like, subscribe, all that boring bullshit. We'll see you next time. Bye. I've been fired from a lot of places. I've been fired from so many places.
I went into the class one day, real bullets. Kill me.